Hey, what is up guys, Smurfy back for round number 1, and we won the dice roll, which is awesome. This hand just does nothing. We have no creatures and only one mountain, so that's pretty easy mulligan. Yeah, this hand is fine. So we've got 2 threats, and Bristling Hydra is just one of the most resilient ones, so that's really good. And we have fairly good mana, so this should be fine. See what our opponent is up to. Hopefully they don't mulligan down to like 2 or something. I always find it really annoying in testing when my opponent mulligans down to like 2 or 3, just because it just doesn't do anything for either of us. Yeah, we'll keep this. We do not want another Bristling Hydra. We already have one and we just don't have the mana to play it, so we're just going to play that and pass. Yes, in testing I'm just not really worried about who's winning more, I'm more worried about why. So yeah, if like my opponent mulls to like 3 or something in testing, it just doesn't do anything for either of us. We're going to just play the Longtusk Cub here. Next turn we can Attune with Aether, get probably a mountain as we've already got double green, and keep up Blossoming Defense. So our opponent starts off with a forest. The fact that they're playing Evolving Wilds suggests that they're a Delirium deck, because I don't see any other reason to play Evolving Wilds. Yeah. It's good for helping you enable Delirium, but other than that, it's just a pretty bad card in Standard, because there's just such good fixing already. Like, the cycling lands are incredibly powerful. They're just going to Fatal Push now. Yeah, sure. It was definitely correct on their part to do that. So we'll get a mountain. Ooh. And this one will get a forest. So we've got lands now, which is really good. And if we are against a Delirium deck, then they're really going to struggle to remove this Bristling Hydra, just because their removal is so much clunkier than a lot of other decks. And all we really need is a double strike, the Uncaged Fury, and we should be able to get 3 fairly easily. Oh, this is the Sultai Aetherworks deck, I think, which is basically just Aetherworks, but you play a Delirium package as well. So we'll play the Bristling Hydra. They're tapped out, and now we'll go up to 7 energies, so they need 2 removal spells to kill our Hydra. And then when we play the Servant, we'll go up to 9, which is another pump. We've also got Blossoming Defense, so it's going to be pretty hard for them to kill our Bristling Hydra unless they have a sacrifice spell, like, I can't think of any in Standard. There's the 3 mana instant. If you have Delirium, it's a Planeswalker and a creature, but not too worried about that being main deck. Or maybe they play 1. They're attacking for 3, which is a bit odd. I think we're just going to take it. Like, there's no reason of blocking. Oh, they actually do have it. So to this lore, that's the one I was thinking of. Attacker player sacrifice a creature or a Planeswalker Delirium. They sacrifice 1 of each. Obviously, we only have a Bristling Hydra, so we sacrifice that. Play the game chair tapped, and we'll just play the 7. So now, if we draw a Electrostatic Pummler, they basically just have to answer it straight away, otherwise they die, because we'll go up to 12 energy, then we can pump. So we'll pump it up to a 5/1, and then it'll just go 5, 10, 20, 40, and then they'll just die. So they can create a 2/2. Yeah, gonna make a zombie and mill the top 2 cards. Yeah, they're definitely on the Sultai Aetherworks deck. If you're playing this, you're playing Aetherworks pretty much. If they attack us for 3 here, we just have to take it. They choose not to, which I find surprising. We do not want to see more Attune with Aethers, but that's unfortunate. We'll play the forest out, and we'll just pass the turn. We can attack into Liliana and just try and kill it, but Liliana's actually not that much of a problem, because if we're going to kill our opponent, it's just going to be like smashing the crap out of them. Killing Liliana would require both of our pump spells, and that's just, if we use both of these, we're just not winning this game. So we basically just have to hope we draw a Pummler or Bristling Hydra here, I think. It's going to make another 2/2, which is fine. How much? 7 to ultimate? Okay, so we might have to attack it next turn then. Because if we do stick an electrostatic Pummler, they could just ultimate straight away. Unfortunately, we have to just take this because I think if we do get a Pummler, we have to somehow tick this down a little bit. Okay, so we've drawn the Pummler, which is great. So we're in a really difficult spot here because if we attack the Servant, use the Servant to attack the Liliana, they'll probably just block with a zombie. So then we can Uncage Fury and deal a bunch of damage to Liliana, but then we just have a Pummler in play with no trample spell. So then we have to draw a trample spell. Or we can also just play the Pummler and hope that they mess up and don't ultimate straight away. Because if they don't ultimate, then we just win on the spot, right? Unless they have like double removal spell. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if we attack it, or attack Liliana, sorry, they're just going to block with a zombie. Then we can Invigorated Rampage, deal 4 to it, put Liliana to 3. Then play the Pummler. Then we have to keep the Pummler alive and draw a pump spell, which just seems super, super unlikely. So yeah, I think the optimal play is to deal the damage to Liliana. But if our opponent misplays and doesn't ultimate straight away, then I think it just depends on what our opponent does. Like if I was at the early rounds of a GP, or compared to like the late rounds of a GP, if I was like 9-2, then I would just do the play, deal the damage to Liliana. But we're just against a random opponent, which to me kind of makes me think that they're more likely to misplay. How many pump spells do we have left in our deck? So Invigorated Rampage is 1 out of 8, so we have 7 left. So yeah, we're not likely to draw another one soon, and the problem is we're just dead so quickly. So we basically have to draw another pump spell here next turn and keep the Pummler alive to ever win this. So I'm just gonna attack Liliana, and if they block, I'm just gonna play the Electrostatic Pummler. Because if they block with a zombie instead of the Rogue Refiner, then they only have 1 zombie left, so when they ultimate Liliana, they just have 1 zombie in play. Are they going to double block? No, okay. Yeah, this is way better for them, because now they can... So basically we have to decide between is the top card of our deck a +4 and trample spell. Well, it has to give trample, and the only ones are the +4 ones. So if the top card is that, then we can play the Pummler, or we can trample over now and then play the Pummler. If it's not, then we have to keep the Pummler and the Rampage. And it's pretty unlikely that the top card is larger than life. So I'm just going to hope our opponent doesn't ultimate Liliana straight away. If they ultimate, then we lose. And we have to hope they also don't have a... Well, I guess if they... Okay. If they try to just use another removal spell instead, if it's like -X spells, then we can actually use this to keep it alive and then draw another pump spell. So you can just use this on here, then activate it, and it'll become a 10-6 or something. Yeah. They're getting back Rogue Refiner. That's really good for us. Also, it's a zombie now, which is cool. Aetherworks Marvel, sure. I'm not sure how many Ulamogs this deck plays, because I know a lot of Aetherworks decks are actually cutting down on Ulamogs just to play the mirror match so much better. Like a lot of people on the Pro Tour were just like spinning Marvel and just getting like glimpse of geniuses and things like whatever it's called. Yep, that's game. Because we take 2 for 7 here. Yep, there's nothing we can do about that. Unfortunately, they just had too much removal. Let's go to sideboarding. So Negate's good against our opponent. They're a pretty clunky deck, so I kind of like playing the Pummler combo, just because if you're against like a more efficient deck, like Mardu vehicles, they tend to have a lot more quicker removal. But because they're Delirium, they tend to play more higher value removal spells, which typically cost more mana, so they're less mana efficient, so it's harder for them to cast 2 spells in one turn, which is why I would be tempted to keep the Pummler combo in. So if they were like a red version of the deck, they typically bring in Radiant Flames, which is why these are very good, because they both have 4 toughness. I'm not sure how it matches up against their deck. I think we just want to bring in 4 Negate. And the forest if we... oh, sorry, the island if we do. We normally just take out our mountain because the forest is so much more important for Attune with Aether. And just a lot of the deck is green. Yeah, I think we just want to bring in the 4 Negates. We could just bring in the Hellions and the Green Belts. I don't hate that plan. We can take out the Deliverance. It's fine, it blows up Aetherworks, but it's typically too late against their deck. I guess it does kill the Gear Hulk as well, whatever, the black one. Noxious Gear Hulk, because it's still an artifact. I think what we're going to do is just cut the Servants and bring in those. Oh, we have 1 slot, so I guess we can keep in a Servant. I'd rather keep in a Servant than a Deliverance, I think. Maybe not. We'll keep in the Deliverance, see how it plays. Yeah, we're just going to play this again. We're not going to board into the tempo style deck. I think their removal is just not efficient enough that we need to do that. This hand is like... so if we had like a Pummler or a Bristling Hydra, this hand would be great. But we don't. We do have Negate and a Deliverance though. I guess we don't have the blue for the Negate yet. Yeah, I'm going to choose to mulligan that. Alright, this hand is fine. We'll keep this. Our opponent's moved to 6 as well. Yeah, we do want that. Oh, we're going first though, so it doesn't matter. Because we're just going to attune. We could choose to attune next turn if we wanted, to draw that card really that badly. But I don't think it's that important. I think we'd rather just draw creatures. Here, we've already got a blue source. We've got green and then Aether, so I think we're just going to get another forest. And we'll pass the turn. Double green is typically what we want first, and we've got the Aether if we need anything. But we don't you don't really want to be using energy from it though, if you can avoid it. And we draw a Game Trap. That's pretty bad for us, but we just play the Spy Buff Canal and pass. We've got Negate for when they play the Marvel or any Planeswalker that we're really worried about. Another Attune? Sure. Get a Swamp. So they've got a Swamp and an Island. So we know 2 out of 6 cards in their hand. We'll play the Game Trail. There's no reason to show them the forest. We don't need the mana for anything, so unless we want to play around Censor, which I don't think we do. Maybe we do. Maybe that was correct. Play to reveal the forest. It doesn't give them too much information either way. So next turn we can play the Aether Hub to go up to 3 energy. If they have the sacrifice one again, then we're looking really bad. So yeah, if they have the to the slaughter again and we lose the Bristling Hydra, we're pretty close to just losing. Unless we draw like another really good threat. Like if we draw like a Lung Tusk up, it's just not going to get us there this game. But if we draw like a Pummler, then it'd be fine. Or we can just wait and keep the Bristling Hydra for when we have Negate up as well. Which I actually think is correct, because we're not under a clock anyway. And sure, our opponent getting like into the later game is bad for us, but it's not as bad as just not having a creature. And they just did nothing, so yeah, I think it's fine to just keep the Bristling Hydra here. We're in just such bad shape if they do to the slaughter us there. Rogue Refiner, sure. Yeah, like again, we can play the Bristling Hydra now, but we might as well just wait the extra turn and keep up Negate at this point. They also could just play like an Aetherworks Marvel now, and we could just negate it, which would be really good for us. Just gonna pass back. Alright, sweet. So if we get a double strike spell, then we're Uncaged Fury, we're looking really good here. Let's just play the Hydra and we should be reasonably okay. Because of the negate, and we've got double protection here and Blossoming Defense if we really needed it, but we shouldn't. I think this deck is much more of a combo deck than an aggro deck, and I think people don't give enough credit for the late game it can play instead of the early game. I think we win more games like on turn 7 or 8 through combo than we do on turn 4 or 5. Vessel, sure. Sacrifice it, get an artifact, creature, enchantment, or land. Or Planeswalker, okay. I can never remember which ones this gets and which ones Grapple of the Past gets. And it's going to pass. We draw another Pump Spell, which is not bad. We can just Larger Than Life this and attack. Because we just have so many Pump Spells, I think that's fine. It's typically better to use the Sorcerer Speed ones over the instances. Because you can get them out, get them from surprise using Invigorated Rampage. It is also worth noting that Larger Than Life gets through the Rogue Refiner without having to activate our energy, whereas Rampage they could just block and we'd have to activate. They could just the slaughter us now. If they do, we'll just negate and probably Invigorate Rampage as well, just to get the damage in. They got 7 of the Conduit, I believe. Yeah. So they're not going to block. Yeah, I quite like using Invigorated Rampage here. Because next turn we're going to have 2 for Larger Than Life, 1 for Blossoming Defense, 2 for Negate. So we're probably not doing everything next turn anyway. Especially if we draw like Uncaged Fury as well. Sweet, so we're just getting for 12. We could actually activate the Hydra's ability once and still have 1 Hexproof up, but I think that's just greedy. The 1 extra damage probably isn't going to make much difference. See what our opponent's got now. 7, yeah, we knew about that, that's fine. They've played both the basics that we knew were in their hand as well. Just going to pass again. Sure. Another Blossoming Defense. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14, and then we're on effectively 12. Yes, that should just be lethal. Here they need like double to the slaughter, which obviously they can't have with their mana, so this should just be game. Because we have negate if they make us do anything. And we can give this hexproof 4 times this turn. Don't really care about that. Activate. And again. So now it's got hexproof. We can we can just use all of these, and we've got the negate up. So this is all we actually need. I guess they could just have a counter spell. Yeah, if they have like. Oh no, they've tapped all their blow. I was gonna say if they actually had To the Slaughter and a counter spell, that'd be really bad for us. And we use this too. Why not? And that should put them to -2. Yep, sweet. On to game 3. So yeah, they just like slowed down. And because they played To the Slaughter again, I don't know how many copies they play, but I think we might just want 2 more. And now we're on the draw as well. I don't mind cutting Dissenter's Deliverance. And maybe just a cub. Actually, I think on the draw we rather servants over the cubs. It gives us energy instead of using energy, and also just Longtusk Cub is just really bad against Rogue Refiners because they can just block and ours dies, and they've drawn a card and got energy, and we've not done anything. So I think that's fine. Again, as I said, we could go into like the aggressive deck, bring in Greenbelt Rampager, bring in Lithune Hellion, Lithunu Hellion, take out the Pummlers, take out some pump spells, but I don't think that's what we want to do. Like if the game doesn't line up really nicely, then they can just overwhelm us with like zombies from Liliana and things, and there's just no way of catching up. Whereas this deck, you can just, it doesn't matter what their board is, there's always like a way you can win. If they don't put enough pressure on, at least. I think this is a keep. Yeah, we'll keep this. So we can get an island, and then we've already got Larger Than Lives, and we only need like a Aether Hub, and we've got protection. I think this is fine. Keep. It's pretty ropey if we don't draw any more land, but oh, sweet, we do. Get the 1 island and pass. I love how the Guru lands on Moto are really cheap. Like these are just, the artwork on these is amazing. In real life, these are like a lot more expensive. They're like less than a ticket on Moto though, which is why so many people play them. And we drew the Aether Hub again for the Pummler. So we got 2 from the Attune, and then 1 from here will put us up to 3, and this will put up to 6. So 1 pump spell is typically enough. I think here we do play the Aether Hub. You can... Oh, actually no, we should have just played the island, that was stupid. Well, there's nothing we're too worried about them playing for us to counter, but... Yeah, it was just correct to play the negate there, or keep up negate, without having to use an energy. Because they could have just played like Aetherworks there. Luckily we don't get punished for it, but yeah, that was just a stupid mistake. Also, it's nice to keep this in your hand because then your opponent doesn't know that you have an increment. So if you play this and you have 5 energy instead of 6, they don't know that you necessarily have enough energy for next turn, so they might play differently accordingly. But you can then just sandbag this and play it, and it doesn't cost any energy. We'll play the island in case we draw a game trail, and I think we just want to pass. There's no reason to play into the Slaughter. We're just not under a clock, and we have negate if they do. Draw like Aetherworks or something. This is where Dispel is significantly better than Negate against instant speed like to the Slaughter, because 2 mana and 1 mana are so different, like it's an extra turn. They might just end of turn Vessel here. No, they're going to crack it. Okay, sure. Also, another nice thing about this version of the deck over the sideboarded aggro deck is gaining 6 life is really annoying. It's not amazing, like obviously against an aggro deck gaining 6 life is pretty good, but they're spending 5 mana to do it. But still, them keep gaining 5 gets really annoying when you're trying to beat your opponent down, whereas in this deck you just don't care if they gain 5 life, because you can just go over the top of that. Draw a Hydra, which is good. Again, I don't want to play into To the Slaughter. We're not under a clock, so we're just going to pass and hope. Oh, I guess we could play Bristling Hydra here. Yeah, sure, we'll play Bristling Hydra. If they play Aetherworks, it's not great for us, but other than that, I think it's fine. It gives us another increment of 3, which means larger than life is enough to kill our opponent, because we can... what are they going to do here? Just going to crack the Vessel, sure. Yeah, so... Sorry, because if we have another increment of 3, we can go larger than life, we'll put it to 5, and then 10, then 20, then 40, whereas normally it would only get to 20 if we have 6. But the extra increment puts it to 40, which is the extra bump we need. Because I don't really want a larger than life twice in the same turn. We normally want to just use one larger than life and then keep up Negate and Blossoming Defense. If our opponent To the Slaughter is this, we don't really care. Aetherworks, sure. So they do have the energy to spend it. This also means that we can play the Pummler next turn and not be worried about To the Slaughter, because this can give itself hexproof and we can give this hexproof, so we never have to sacrifice the Pummler. If we draw a land, even better. Hopefully they don't hit Ulamog. As long as they don't hit Ulamog, we should be fine this game. Or I'm not... Gonti, that's spicy, sure. Like, what are they going to do? Take a larger than life? I really don't see why they'd keep that in, other than it's got Death Touch. But 4 mana for 3 toughness, just not worth it. I have to imagine they have better cards to play against us than a 4 mana 2/3 draw a larger than life. Maybe a Blossoming Defense if you're lucky. I guess they could get a Negate or Dispel actually. That would be really bad for us, but it's so unlikely. It's like, look at the top 4 or something. Yeah, top 4. Draw a land, which is good. Unfortunately, we can't reveal, but again, we're just going to play the Hydra here because we can keep up Blossoming Defense. I'm not sure if it's better to keep up an island to represent... sorry, a Aether Hub to represent Dispel, or just keep up a forest for the Blossoming Defense. I think it's better to just keep up the forest, or sorry, the Game Trail, because if you keep up the Aether Hub, you could represent Dispel as well, which we do play. But yeah, I think we're just gonna, because the extra energy is just not worth risking in case we have to Blossoming Defense and it just feels really bad. We can attack here, but we don't want to attack into Death Touch because then To the Slaughter fucks us, so we're just going to pass. Our opponent can crack this and go up to 4 energy. This is now effectively just a 2/2 because they don't have any energy at the minute. Rogue Refiner, sure. It's looking really good now. I can't think of what they could have to win this game. Because next time we're just going to go larger than life on here. Like this, they've got 3 mana. If they To the Slaughter, we sacrifice this. If they kill spell, we use Blossoming Defense. So they need like, yeah, I don't think they can win from this spot. It sounds like cocky to say that. I think it's more of just familiar with Standard, and I just don't think they could have any line of spells. Uncaged Fury, sure. So I guess we just go larger than life. So they are currently on 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So we only need to deal 30. Are they just going to counter our pump spell? Sure. So they did get the negate from Argonti. Wait, is that their own? No, that is just their own negate. Okay, sure. Just use another one. So 5, so 10, 20, 40, yeah, so that's just lethal. And I tapped the wrong mana. I should have actually kept up a forest for Blossoming Defense. Obviously they're tapped out, so it doesn't really matter, but it could get extra damage in, which would have been nice. Yeah, it doesn't matter though. And that should just be lethal. Eventually when it... There we go, sweet. So that was game 1. I think that just shows the resilience of this deck. A lot of people just think of it as you slam a Pummler and you hope it doesn't die, but you can play the late game. Like, if someone doesn't put a clock on you, then it's absolutely fine for you to just sandbag your threats. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in round 2. Peace.